Somebody call the doctor because bad medicine is back. Folks, today we're taking a look at the trailer for Fallout. Let's check it out.
Let's go!
Yes.
So full disclosure, I don't know anything about this, that it's a game. I think some
I've lived a relatively comfortable
I
life.
played the very first game.
Stop! Lucy!
Ugh.
Jonathan Nolan.
Oh,
He's
this did
Chris's
Westworld.
brother.
Yes.
Yeah, this is going to be
All
awesome.
dwellers are an endangered species. I do not think you would be willing to do what it takes to survive up here.
Todd Howard, game creator. Okay, so it is a video game.
Yep.
If you insist on staying, then you
Hey,
the guy from
that's
Lost.
Guy from Saw. Ugh. That puppy's doing work on that beetle. Oh, well, I mean, everything's fine now.
Free 2-day shipping. Instead of saying Amazon,
Amazon.
I like that. That's brilliant. Yeah, I have no idea what this game is about or anything like that. So, folks, let us know, or at least let me know if this is a good game or not.
I'm familiar with the first game and some of the later ones my nephew played.
A bright new sun will suddenly break through.
Almost looked like Ryback.
Oh, what is this dude?
Had a rough day.
Well, that was an interesting character.
I see it with you.
Oh, this is going to be so awesome.
Oh! Is that one eye?
Cyclops.
Yeah, one eye.
Please remain calm.
So is this supposed to be like
It's like
dystopian?
Yeah, it's like post-apocalyptic fingers.
Oh, I think it's pretty clear.
Dystopia.
Fallout is exactly what it refers to.
Yeah.
Some nuclear something.
Oh, I was going to say, it looked like him, the guy with the nose. That's, what's our guy's name there? Oh, look at that. Oh, wow.
This is going to be epic.
Holy shit, that was cool.
Okay, now they might show us a little more here before I make a comment, but okay.
April 12th.
Now, Dave, do you remember how excited I was when
Let's run this
Walking Dead
back.
first came out and I told you this is going to be awesome? That's the same feeling I have about this series.
All right. Well, that ending
I know
right there
that I've
piqued
lived a relatively
my interest.
comfortable life.
Yeah, again,
Vault dwellers,
Yeah.
they call them.
my knowledge of it is very small, but enough to get the gist here of what's going on.
Let's take a look here. So, yeah, we got a lot of bones. A lot of bones.
Yep. So she's maybe coming out for the first time, perhaps.
Perhaps because the way her
she's looking
expression
around
was, yeah.
But
And Jonathan Nolan, that's Chris's brother, I believe. So someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's one of Chris's brothers.
Westworld, I did watch the first. Is there a fourth season? I watched the first three.
I only watched the first season.
I stayed dedicated and suffered through, but yeah, nothing. The first season was downhill.
Yep. So I mean, I love that they create this
Vault dwellers.
I do not think you would be willing to do what it takes to survive up here.
Okay, so all the vault dwellers are different than the people,
If you
obviously,
insist
who've
on
been
staying.
living in the real world.
Then you will
Yep.
have to adapt.
They've just finally come out.
So that's a dog just going to
Yeah,
town on
it's-
one of those huge bugs.
Yeah, German
They
Shepherd.
say if we had a nuclear war, the things that would survive are cockroaches and to insert your joke.
Twinkies.
Yeah, that's just genius. Free 2-day shipping.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
They didn't want
Genius.
to say Amazon for you 2-day shipping.
Well, and all of us are such fans of this genre. I just know we're going to love this.
This is really cool. It feels futuristic, but not like crazy futuristic.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool.
These robot characters
Yeah.
look very intriguing. Dog.
Because that looks like a game right there.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
theme looks like something out of a game. That doesn't even look like.
Bright new sun will suddenly
Is that right?
break
Look like right.
You wouldn't have him.
Yeah,
but-
that's definitely not right back.
Yeah.
But so okay, like I see that. What does that say? Sup?
Yeah, or up, sup,
S-U-P-P.
supper. It's probably
S-U-P-P.
supper, maybe.
Yeah, trying to make a little bit of a world of what was
Yeah.
left from apparently
Yep.
there's that end credit, or the end credit, the end scene.
So
There's our dude. So that's
who is that?
Is it Walter
yes,
Goggins?
Giggins.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
Walter Goggins. That's my
Goggins.
guy. I love
Goggins.
him and everything.
Yeah.
How do you guys? I can never
So
recognize.
the only reason why
I
I
can
recognize
tell
him,
is-
like I didn't notice in the first run of that, but when they showed him at the end with the kid getting on the horse,
It's a lot more obvious in the second one.
yeah, the second time around.
Right there, you can kind of. Right
Yeah,
there.
that
right
looks like
there.
the
Get
house from the
profile.
Book of Eli.
I was just gonna say it felt like the Book of Eli house, just out in the middle of nowhere.
Shout out to Albert.
I grabbed a moldy one.
Vault Tech.
Oh, moldy one.
Yeah, so I like how they're keeping the motif of like the 1950s
Look at
commercials.
that.
they're
That was a
doing.
mechanical. Well, it looked like a mechanical bear. It's probably not, but
No, it was a big radiated bear.
That thing, the big
Oh.
salamander with those
fingers.
like human fingers. Yeah,
Who I couldn't see who
Right
that
there.
actress
right
was.
there.
Oh yeah.
See, it's him.
See?
Yeah, right
Yeah.
there. Okay.
right there. So now you just take the nose off, and then
Yep.
boom, you got.
Burn his face.
Got
and
him.
There's our guy.
Oh, okay. So it's happening.
Right.
Look at the smoke
Yeah,
and all
right
that in the
now.
back. Wow.
Yeah, I
This
didn't
is just
catch
a
that.
teaser trailer.
I know this is going to be so awesome.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
one. There's already another
There he
one
was
that's
on the
gone
horse up
off.
There he
They're
is on the
riding.
horse.
There's another
Okay.
one.
So here he is on the horse.
Now, is there any? I see that billboard down there, but I can't really read what it says.
Yeah, it's hard to read what the billboard says, but
But it's obviously
Oh, my
futuristic because look how
goodness.
built up the city is.
you got 1, 2, 3, and then that fourth one just hits mega here. Like this kind of stuff right here,
The
the
beginning.
beginning is always so intriguing if done right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always comment on that.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
always
gosh.
bad. Give us backstory as far as what happened, and that is devastating.
Oh,
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
holy cow! Like this trailer just sold me.
Yep.
And again, folks,
When is this?
April 15th.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely down for checking this out.
Oh, absolutely.
And thanks to all of you for asking us to react to this because again, I had no idea what
Yeah.
this
Now,
was
Amazon typically does 1 week at a time.
Typically.
Yeah.
I was
Typically.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
they're not going to.
early days they did the old here binge
Yeah, I was
it.
gonna
Now
say,
they
I
got
thought
on
in the
to
early days that they used to just throw everything out and let you go nuts and not see the sun for an entire day like I used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks incredible, and of course, the visual effects is what you'd expect from what Amazon is producing
Right.
these days,
Yep.
and to take a completely fictitious world and make it look like that cool, or not a fictitious world but happening. Oh, it's
Yeah, I mean the only
intense.
actor I recognize after you guys pointed out was Walter Goggins. I don't know any of the other actors or actresses that are in this, so I'm kind of excited for that because I won't see them as anybody else and anything else they've done. So I like that they'll be coming in with fresh eyes. And like I said, I haven't been this excited about a series since the first trailer for The Walking Dead came out. And I told Dave, I'm like, dude, this is going to be a game changer. You got to watch this. It's going to be awesome.
Mason Quinn loves
I love
his
the
post-apocalyptic.
Oh, if I could be driving there
What
with Max's
is-
Interceptor, I'd be set.
What is it going to take to survive? What an interesting question.
I am
tell that
interest-
stories in 1,000 different ways.
Yeah, I am interested in seeing if like in The Last of Us, if the creators have a heavy hand involved, or if it's just the studio and they kind of said,
Yeah.
"We got it, guys." So I'm interested in seeing that, but definitely excited, especially seeing the ending of that trailer and seeing how that setup's going to be. So
It's going to be awesome.
Check it out.
All right, guys. So for Diamond Dave Damone, that's the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn, and we'll see you on the next one.
Errors were made in the hours following King Viserys' death.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Many will die,
Oh.
and the victor will eventually ascend the throne.
There's just so much
There is no
story
war so hateful
waiting
to
to
the
be
gods.
told.
There's a war between kin. And no war so bloody as a war between dragons.
fight scenes are going to be epic. That's the big dog right there. That's our big guy.
What?
That
Oh.
right there just sells.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they just give us 10 seconds of that?
I liked the image. They had a multi-headed dragon for the image there. I wonder if we're going to get one of those.
Let's, of course, run it back here.
Running back.
That dragon was...
Errors were made
Yeah.
in the hours following King Viserys' death.
Errors. You mean like putting the wrong guy in the throne?
Yeah.
Many will die. And the victor will eventually ascend the throne.
So I'm hoping, I don't know about all you or you, I'm hoping we get more dragons this season. I got to imagine the budget kind of got bumped up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we have more involvement of the dragons, but that's
Well,
just
in,
me.
in season 1, we had a lot of dragons compared to what the original Game of Thrones had. You know, she was carrying around the eggs forever, and then they were just little guys, and then they finally got bigger. It's like the big reveal.
But we got
You know, in season 1, they already had that big dog dragon. They already had like 3 of them. So
There is no war so hateful to the gods. There's a war between kin.
well, no, that
Oh,
scene
what was
right
that?
there.
Wait,
Oh,
what
all
was that
right,
shot
we're going
right
back.
That was the one I popped for originally. So that's either a standoff or a
Oh,
meeting.
wow.
I mean, it looks like they're having a meeting on the beach, like maybe
Yeah.
two
Oh.
rival families. The dragons have their arms, their wings down.
Yep, they're both in
They're
like a
walking-
standstill position, and then the two peeps are right there on the beach.
Yeah, so I think maybe they're meeting to try to avoid like a massive casualty, massive war or something to try to have peace. But
that is the two dragons down, one on the right, visibly larger than the one on the left.
so cool.
Dude, maybe we are going to get more dragons.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope we do, because those are, to me, those are some fantastic characters for
Yep.
this world that we're in.
Yeah, because season 1, they did so much character development already. Like, okay, we kind of know our characters. Let's send them on their way now.
Right.
Oh, the battle scenes are going to be so sweet.
Bloody is a war between dragons.
War Between Dragons, that should answer the question for that I have, so.
Now,
I mean,
yeah.
dude,
What is
Yep.
that?
can you imagine just looking up and seeing that thing just...
It looks like it's battle worn.
mean, it's-
too.
it's-
got
it's-
holes in its wings
I
and
think
stuff.
Now,
and
correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the dragon from the first season. That was like the oldest one they had and the biggest one, I believe,
it
right?
was underground. Remember
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end where she went and
I don't know, someone help us out.
Yeah,
'cause-
help us
No,
out.
I think
It's been a minute for me.
I think that's the dragon. So you remember at the end, she goes underground.
Yep.
Right. They're doing the ceremony, whatever, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you thought like she was gonna roast the king
Yeah,
and everybody, and it was almost like this show of force. I think that's.
I'm pretty sure that's the same.
think
Well, it
that's
has
the
to be.
one.
Let's be honest. It has to be.
The thing's just massive.
And I like how all the dragons have their different, unique designs.
Yes.
Oh, are we going to see a 3-headed one, or is that just the logo?
that's the
Yeah,
logo.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
And yes, folks,
Yep.
I will be joining. I have seen Game of Thrones. I, of course, helped on the edits with the House of Dragon.
Yep.
So I was actually more hooked on House of Dragon than I was on Game of Thrones.
Really?
It
Yeah.
took me up until the 6th season to get really invested.
Mm.
Like, I'm one of those guys, like, I already gave my time for the 4 seasons.
Right.
I can't just bail now. I got to see
Right,
other things.
right.
That's
Yeah.
how I was with Westworld, and I didn't like Westworld.
I was
except for the
really
first season.
late to the Game of Thrones.
As was
party.
I.
Like I think I didn't watch Game of Thrones until like season 4 or 5 started, and then I was like,
yeah. See, I don't
I
think
had some
Yeah.
some strong binging weekend.
You and me both.
So-
Because I don't think I started it, Dave. Because I remember telling you when I started it, and and we were real early into the channel. I think we were still doing the podcast, and I was like, Dave, I just watched Game of Thrones longer than I was at my job today. I'm feeling awful about myself.
Yeah, the only one that hasn't seen anything of the Game of Thrones world is Answer. So I don't know if folks are interested in making him do it for all of you, so that way he can catch up.
by
Of
himself.
course, let us know. If not, that's totally fine too.
Yeah.
But so that he's probably not going to be here for any of the House of Dragon stuff, unless you guys want him to start, then maybe
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. That's a long timeline for
Catch
that.
back.
But
Yeah, I mean, he could at least do the first season, maybe get caught up. But no, this is going to be so exciting because I absolutely loved all the characters they had. Matt Smith was
he
played the perfect role. Like one episode you hate him, the next episode like, well, that kind of makes sense what you're doing there, I suppose. So they
and
laid the groundwork
she crushed
so well.
it too.
Oh my
She
God.
was
Yes.
phenomenal.
And the young princess as well. Shout
Yeah.
out, granted,
Yeah.
she had a much shorter role, but she was phenomenal as well. If you didn't catch our reactions for House of the Dragon, Mason Quinn and I had watched this in roughly the same time frame as we were watching The Rings of Power. And of course,
Roughly it was.
and of course, look, you can make certain comparisons about being fantasy and kind of back in medieval times or whatever times they are. I know the Tolkien world stretches over a long period of time. Don't get me into that. But in any regard, this was just for us so much more fun and so much more engaging than Rings of Power, and it was such a breath of fresh air for us,
really
like to
was.
watch Rings of Power and then be like, okay, but House of the Dragon.
Yep.
And so, call me foolish, call me whatever. I'm still like holding out hope that the next season of Rings of Power, they're going to be like, okay, guys, we got a lot of money. We got to make it good this time. But it's not a matter of holding out hope for this. It's just pure excitement. You know how well season 1 was done. Character development was fantastic. Of course, seeing the dragons. And look, we're so spoiled now looking at how realistic these dragons
I'm saying it's such a great
look.
time.
And I guess realistic as far as you can use that word for a mythical creature. But we've watched movies that span a long time, and to see the advancement when you feel like you don't even feel like you're looking at CGI. Sometimes you feel like you're at watching video of at a zoo or something like that.
It's like it's
So
real.
I'm pumped for this one.
Yeah, the thing I like, and I know a lot of people commented this on Game of Thrones, was that it was very violent, it was very raunchy, and they had a lot of that in there. But it seemed like they had that in the first couple episodes, and then it would kind of settle down a little bit, and the story was so incredible, similar to The Boys, where you have all that crazy stuff going on in the background, but the story has you so engaged. I don't want to say you don't notice it, but you're not as focused on it, like, oh my goodness, they're having this crazy party scene, or there's all this violence going on. Like, yes, it's there, it's obviously not for kids, but the stories are so damn good. It's like they just suck you right in.
Well, and season
That's what
1
I
was
love.
so good for House, at least in my opinion, for House of Dragon, that it's like, okay, the bar is set pretty high. So now, are they going to up the partying? Are they going to up the violence in season 2 to kind of keep that level again? Or
I almost
how
wonder-
do they and I'm sure there's plenty for them to pull from. But how do they enrich the story even more to just grab?
Yeah,
I'm wondering how they're going
storytelling.
to, Mason Quinn and I were watching, like, man, the King's, he's really hanging in there.
Remember, every episode we thought that was the last
Every
one.
episode. Next thing you know, he's got a mask
Body
covering
parts
up,
coming off.
hole in his face. I mean, it was, we were like,
Moved on. It's like he had a Duracell battery.
this dude is not throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of really good stuff. I'm wondering. I wonder the same thing that Dave does. If they set the bar so high, do you? I don't know how many seasons they're going to run with it. Do you kind of keep the story going and keep that vibe, or do you just say, okay, we came out of the gates hot, let's put the pedal to the floor? Because it felt like it wasn't like super like wild, crazy, over the top, but it was a lot.
Yeah, a lot of moments.
Kids losing eyes, like they said, a lot of partying, a lot of
Well, and that dragon fight with the kid.
the dragon fight. Yeah, that was traumatizing.
That-
Nothing else. But the plots are cool. It's
That's the
interesting
thing,
when you talk
the
about
stories.
and the stories are very unique in that we have stories about obviously power, right? Like who's going to sit on one throne, who's the ruler of here, and who's there. But also interesting relationship stories, because now people marry for love. I'm sure there's people who marry for money and all sorts of different reasons. But back then, you had people in power or situations where they were in very high positions of power who had to marry other people.
Strengthen
Just
your family.
strengthen the family name or the kingdom or whatever. And so you have this interesting, social dynamic, but also very interesting relationship dynamics, which they do a good job of telling that story also. So it's almost like we get like an action kind of medieval type movie, but we also get a little bit of a soap opera as well. And I think that mix just makes for great entertainment.
Yep. And the only thing that I'm not familiar with, as I've only seen the Game of Thrones series one time through and then the House of Dragon once. So I'm going to reach out to you guys a little bit, but I'm wondering if we're going to start to see, I know we did just a tiny bit in the first season, but are we going to start to see some of those families from Game of Thrones start to pop up in House of Dragon? That'll be interesting to see too. See if we recognize any of those last names. That'll be really cool to see. So
Absolutely.
दूर कहीं एक प्रांत में
कौन है रे? कौन है? अरे देवा, छोड़ना, जाने देना यार। बता मुझे, कौन है वो?
एक अटूट गहरी दोस्ती थी।
तेरे लिए शिकार भी बनूंगा, शिकार भी करूंगा।
What?
सिर्फ तेरे लिए।
pledging his allegiance.
तू जब भी बुलाएगा, मैं जरूर आऊंगा।
ये कहानी 1000 साल पहले शुरू हुई। मोहम्मद गजनी और चंगेज खान से भी ज्यादा खूंखार डकैत थे। ये डकैत बहुत अरसे तक निर्विरोध राज करते थे। उन्होंने खानसार के इस जंगल को किला बना लिया।
Whoa, look at that. We've advanced quite a
खानसार
bit.
को साम्राज्य बना दिया। यहाँ पे भी कुर्सी के लिए कूटनीति
This
चलती।
is so crazy. We're going way back to modern.
रहते ही मेरे बेटे वरदराज मन्नार को सरदार बनते हुए देखने की इच्छा है।
राज मन्नार के लौटते ही वरदा सरदार बनेगा। राज मन्नार के लौटने तक अगर वरदा ही नहीं रहा तो
क्या करेगा उसके साथ?
Whoa, they're just going in old school shopping.
Wow, what a scene that was.
No.
नारंग रशियंस को लेके आया है। गुरुंग वाले सर्बियन आर्मी लाए हैं।
अभी 700 लोग खेत पे एंट्री कर चुके हैं। इसके बाद कौन कौन आएंगे, कितना आएंगे नहीं पता।
तू बोल, कितने लोगों को लेके आ रहे हैं हम? भाई बता मुझे। देवा।
Oh, he's crushing the steel.
हमारी आर्मी किधर है?
You only need one.
There he is.
बड़ी बड़ी दीवारें बनाते
Oh, man.
इसलिए नहीं कि कोई बाहर चला जाए,
Oh, he took a leg off.
बल्कि कोई बाहर से अंदर ना आ जाए।
Clearly we didn't get the right language, but that's okay.
We are all violent men. हमारे खून में ही वायलेंस है।
Oh, punched himself.
टुकड़ों के लिए लड़ाई अब बस। मैंने कहा था ना छूना नहीं।
जो कुछ भी मेरी आंखों के सामने है,
तूने सुना ना?
वो सब मुझे चाहिए।
Getting all the languages.
Yep.
तुझे कोई हाथ नहीं लगा सकता।
That I wish we got the right trailer.
Oh.
Kindly request.
Oh, look at that shot. That was cool how they...
He is
Part one.
doing work with those axes.
Part 1?
Oh, my goodness.
December 15th, is that what I saw?
Yeah, that's coming real quick.
Real fast.
Wow. What a...
I mean,
some of these shots were...
I mean, everything you want in just a badass action movie.
Here's our dude.
Yep.
How cool is that?
Bahubali. I know I'm only going back halfway, but this is when the trailer picked up.
That was cool how we kind of went like, well, I don't know what that was. That was awesome.
I mean, look at that. I love how they do the slow motion.
That
That's the one
that
right
shot
there.
right there. I mean,
punches,
pretty innovative.
Yeah, upside down into the truck. And then he goes to work with these axes.
The leg.
बल्कि कोई बाहर से अंदर ना आ जाए.
The music is incredible too.
We are all violent men. हमारे खून में ही violence है.
That one right there.
Just rips him right to the left.
अब बस. मैंने कहा था ना छूना नहीं. जो कुछ भी मेरी आंखों के सामने है. तूने सुना ना? वो सब मुझे चाहिए.
It looked like in that last scene he had something around his waist, kind of. I don't know what that was.
तुझे कोई हाथ नहीं लगा सकता. Please. Kindly request.
Right there. That's the shot right there.
Just badass.
That is a
them
pretty
both
cool
out.
shot. Now, see, like the last thing I really saw him in, if I remember correctly, was Bahubali. So this is going to be interesting to see him in this role now to kind of see what
just
kind of
rolling-
badassery he's going to
rolling
do.
through guys like it's nothing. And we've always talked about it before with the movies from this genre is how innovative they are. And they just take the rules of physics and they say, you know what? We're making a movie. We're going to have fun. It's going to be badass. And we're going to have guys flipping motorcycles, punching a dude into a big earth mover's tire. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see this. Everything I want in an action
This is
movie.
part one.
And it's only
part one. That's my favorite thing about this genre as well. And I've made this joke at the end of multiple films that we've watched. Is like in the pitch room, like in the films we get here in the United States. Well, what if we did this? Nah, it's a little over the top. It's pushing it.
Yep.
In this genre, in the movies, you know what? What if we had him pick up a motorcycle and just like throw it through a tree? You know what? Sounds badass.
Yep.
Put it in there. Yeah. What if like he wrestled a tiger, like opened its mouth, threw it on the ground, like. Yeah, sounds pretty cool. Let's go with it. So like all the stuff that you would think would be way over the top, they throw in, and it makes for just incredible entertainment and just a wild visual experience. And that's why we love this genre so much.
Absolutely. They're so much fun to watch. And these are characters that are new to us, but boy, it doesn't take long to get hooked once we start watching.
Yeah, I recognized a few people from previous films. So it was
a lot of the actors actually I recognized from previous films. So.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, it can't come soon enough. So for Diamond Dave Damone, that's the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn. We will see you on the next one.